Ready? Muy buenas noches, amigos. We're back con Noches de Negocios. Today we're going to do the show in English. So go get your translator, go get you Duolingo. O empiecen a aprender inglés porque estamos en América and we got to speak English, okay? So here we have an amazing guest, Joshua López, de descendencia guatemalteca, feliz aquí conociéndole al cuate aquí también, Jorge. Welcome to the show. Go get you cup of water, go everything, get comfortable. Come on, Wes, you're going to learn some things today. We're talking about business, we're talking about government politics, and how do you make it in America, how you become a successful business owner in America. Welcome, Joshua. Welcome, Jorge.
Señor Ricardo, un placer. Joshua, bienvenido. Un placer tener aquí a otro chapín. Estamos bien. Cada miércoles estamos sacando cosas buenas. Hoy tenemos una noche súper interesante. Tuve el placer de conocer a Joshua. Ya lo había chequeado antes. Ya sabía quién era el chavo. Pero bueno, bienvenidos. Muchas gracias por estar
Jorge.
aquí. Muchas
Thank
gracias.
you, Ricky. Appreciate you guys having me here tonight.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good,
Okay.
man. We're excited. I know we were just talking earlier. You said you're having a wonderful year. So tell us a little about your year. Just a quick recap of what's going on with you. What is so
Man,
wonderful? I see you smiling
I know,
and
man.
jiggling.
My son was born this year, Caleb.
Congratulations.
What's up, Caleb, if you're watching this? But, he's 5 months old now. I have a daughter. She's 18 months, but it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing to just have a family, to be a father. Most importantly, above all, just, being present, being there to raise my children is incredible. It's like a whole new chapter in life. So it's been a good year, man. It's been a good year with the family. It's been a good year with business. So I can't complain, and just kind of stepping back, being present, and recognizing that I'm very lucky. I'm very fortunate to be where I am in life. But man, just having children, it's like every day. It's like it just gives me that fire to keep going. So man, I'm just excited about the future.
Enjoy them, man. Enjoy it.
Like
They
quick.
They grow so fast, man. And
Yeah.
this is the best time, man. The first 5 years is what the cute.
That's what everyone says, man.
Yeah.
That's what everyone says. I mean, even looking at my daughter in a year and a half, it's like, wow, look at pictures from last year.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm with her every day, but just, her transformation in 1 year, I'm like, wow, it goes by quick.
It's beautiful. It's just, those years are incredible, and then you learn more after the 5th, 6th year. It's a completely different stage. Then they jump to the 14, 15 years old. It's crazy. Right? And when they're 21, they're like, thank you. And you're like, okay, fine. We can catch up once in a while.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful life. I mean,
It's beautiful,
Yeah,
man.
it's a completely different style of life, and then it's actually, I always say, like, we're blessed to have that opportunity.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
a blessing. It's actually really cool.
It's almost like you get another opportunity to experience things for the first time again.
Yeah.
Like last year, Christmas. This year we did Halloween. We took pictures as a family. We put up the Christmas tree this week.
I
And
saw that you were the Adams family.
yeah, we did the Adams family this year, man. It was a great picture. Shout out to my wife Monique, who organized the whole thing. But even putting up the Christmas tree this week, I remember when I was a kid doing that with my mom, and like those memories. And I'm like, wow, I'm creating these memories with my kids again.
Yes.
And, before I had the kids, it's like, you're just living life. You don't really, but now it's like, I'm just doing these traditions all over again. So it's cool, man. It's a new experience. So.
I always, I'm a big advocate for fatherhood. I think being a father is an amazing, beautiful experience. And a lot of times, some men don't get to really enjoy that. And, to me, it's like it changed my life. It really changed my life, the trajectory of my life. after I became a dad, like completely changed. You know, before that I was just doing stupid things.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're like, you're almost selfish in a way because there's only you,
Yeah.
and now you have to actually take care of another human being. Without you, your child doesn't eat. Your child, can't change their clothes. It's like you are a provider. So, I was talking to a friend earlier today, and I'm like, man, I used to be able to just get up and leave the house, and like just something as simple as that. And now it's like, make sure the kids are dressed. I have the milk. I've got the diapers. To make sure the bag is ready. It's like an hour just to get out the door. So just the simple things in life, man. It's like, man, it's a memory now.
You're going to master that, man. You're going to master that.
With the third one will be easier.
With the third one, okay, it'll get easier.
The third one is the one, like the first one is the guinea pig, second give
you
you
guys got to
experience.
teach me the life hacks on fatherhood.
Man, when I lived in New York when my younger son was born, I was doing real estate. And I used to take care of my son. So they would call me out to go show an apartment and all that. I would just grab my baby, get 2 diapers in one pocket, get a bottle of milk in the other one, and just go.
Just go.
Be like with my baby. It was funny. It was fun, man. But
yeah,
congratulations, man.
Thank you. It's been a blessing, man. And so I'm very happy. Just happy.
That's cool. Yeah. That's good.
So tell us a little bit. Tell us about Joshua. Who is Joshua, and what does Joshua do? Like that is something that I always wondered because there's no website out there for Joshua. You talk about business, but what is exactly?
Yeah, man. I mean, look, my background: born and raised in D.C., raised by my mother, Olympia, who you've met a few times.
Yes, wonderful lady.
Wonderful lady. Shout out to my mom. Hope you're tuning in, watching. But I grew up in D.C. and I was thinking about this on the way here. We're talking about business and Latino businesses, and I had to reflect. And I'm like, man, my mom was really probably like the first. She was an entrepreneur. She was a nanny for many years. She cleaned homes, but she always worked for herself. Mm-hmm. And my whole childhood, she'd work multiple jobs every day, different houses, different families she worked for, and so that kind of instilled in me, that spirit of entrepreneurship, making your money, not making excuses, working hard. Being able to provide for your family. So, shout out to my mom for those lessons in life. But, she was also very active in the community. So even as a kid, on election day, she would take me out to the voting precincts, working there, handing out pamphlets, candidates. Mm-hmm. So I grew up in a very political household too, man. A lot of politics, local politics, national politics. And I learned the importance of being involved in your community. And so, as I got older, went to, graduated from high school, went to college, went to University of DC here in DC, studied history, my bachelor's in history, my master's in Homeland Security. So absolutely nothing to do with business on both sides, but these are topics that I was very interested in. And then worked in local government for a few years. I learned firsthand how laws are drafted, how they're written, how laws are passed. I worked for a council member at the time, Adrian Fenty, who went on and became the youngest mayor ever in D.C. So kind of coming up the ranks, working under him, I really saw how government can influence people's lives in a good way.
Shout out to Fenty.
Shout out to Fenty, man.
And he is Latino a little bit, right? He's Panameña.
On his grandfather's side.
He has some Latino flavor, right?
Yeah. They were his grandfather was a part of the generation of men who built the Panama Canal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they migrated from like the Barbados, I want to say, and then like his grandfather was born in Panama, something around there. So it's he's got some Latino roots, man. So we used to make the joke, he's the first Latino mayor. I'm sure he'll appreciate it when we see this. But I worked in government for a few years, and then I worked for a community nonprofit that worked with small businesses along Georgia Avenue. And then, man, got a great opportunity, great opportunity to go into the construction business. And, my late good friend, Jose Ortiz, who, passed earlier this year, an amazing individual, entrepreneur, businessman, created a nonprofit, always gave back. But he hired me, in 2011. And I started doing, essentially business development, government affairs for him, bringing in opportunities for his business. He did commercial flooring and like small construction jobs. So that's really where I learned construction, learned the industry of construction. And then my council member, another council member, she ran for mayor, Mayor Bowser. She won in 2014, worked on that campaign.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was a fun time, man. Good time, great, 3-time mayor, DC, great, amazing mayor. And
I was starting my business. I did a video. I found you on 8th Street by Easter Market.
Man, you need to show me that video, man.
I have that video, man.
Probably 10 years ago now. It's
yeah,
crazy.
man. Yeah.
But after she won, I started my business. So I started my business in 2015, really focusing on business development for small, medium-sized companies who may not have all the resources to hire, a big firm to help them out. But by that point, I understood how government works. I understood how contracting opportunities work. I understood how business to business works. And, I recognized that there was, a little niche there, an opportunity where, somebody with my background and my experience could be helpful. So I started in 2015, very simple, Lopez and Associates. And I created my business, focusing on business development, public affairs, government relations, that kind of stuff. So it's been 8 years now, and it's been an incredible experience. I've met so many different business folk that I work with, and man, I'm just very thankful, very fortunate to be in this space.
I think you're being a little bit more humble, but you have traveled. You have international clients too. Like I've seen you in Brazil, Ethiopia, Greece, all over the world. Like and some of them look like they were business trips that you were creating connection also.
Absolutely, it's been man, I've been to 60 countries around the world, 6 continents, and I've met some amazing people all over the world. And I've learned how business operates in different countries, best practices. I've looked to see how, governments operate in these spaces, how they work with businesses. So it's been, these are things that I've learned over the years that I've been able to bring back and apply here. So it's, I encourage people to travel, to experience different cultures. I think it just makes you a better person overall, and opens up your horizon, your way of thinking. So it's been an incredible journey, man. Still a lot more countries to visit and see, but it's been pretty cool.
Do you have like a story of like a moment in which you like either helped the business or you made a connection that was the perfect connection of a good business, like that you go home and be like, wow, like that was such a good connection, or that was such a good deal?
Yeah,
like,
it was like, I have to go back to my time working for Jose. I was like, that was really my first real job in the private sector, in that kind of arena. And to go back even further, I started working when I was 15. Worked at Safeway. I worked at Starbucks. I worked at...
You're a real Latino, man.
Real Latino, man. I worked in the restaurant business. I was a server. I was a host in Georgetown. I worked at Tony and Joe's.
Oh, wow.
On the waterfront as a host.
Nice.
And then I worked for, it's not around anymore, but it was like a Jamaican, Caribbean, like restaurant in Georgetown. I was a server. So all these skill sets along the way, man. It's like customer service,
Yeah.
right? You know, those tips that you get are going to be based on the service that you offer, right? And so if you're bad at it, you're not going to get a big tip, but if you're like doing your thing and you're keeping an eye on stuff and you're providing an exemplary service, you're going to get a big tip. And fast forward, right, that application in my business of a lot of people to people interaction, relationship building, people have to be comfortable with you. They have to know that you have integrity with your word. And especially as I kind of create opportunities with people, it's they may give that opportunity because I know Josh. I know his background. I know he has good relationships with other people, and he follows through on his word. So, anyways, tying it back to Jose, I didn't know much about construction at the time, and he had just opened up his DC office, so he was still kind of new in the place, and he didn't know everyone. So I was going out there, making the relationships, making the introduction, trying to create the opportunity for his business to come in, going to the general contractors. Hey, I know you're going to put this building up. You need to put floors in. I have a good company that can get the job done.
Nice.
So being able to take his company to where it went, where it is now, it's very fulfilling to know that I was a part of that growth. And his company, even after his passing, is doing well. It's a large company. They're a regional company at this point. But that was kind of my like, all right, let me break into this space and see if I can even be successful in it. And a lot of my business philosophy I learned from him. Jose used to tell me, if you approach life with a closed fist, not only can you not give, but you also can't receive. So this guy was just always giving back, always helping. And so, he was a very unique person. So for me to just get that experience from day one, I think really shaped me in kind of my business operations and how I operate. So it's, I always look back at that time, like I would not be where I am if it weren't for Jose.
Wow.
It's good. It's good because, like, you say three very important things. You learn, practice, develop knowledge in life when you're doing customer service. But you say something like, actually, I've been polishing very, very well. It's like the trust. The trust that you get from another business to be able to do business. And it's actually very interesting because I always ask another entrepreneurs, it's like, what made you take the decision to jump by yourself? Like, what made you to be like, okay, I am ready. Like, I'm going to start my business. What pushed you to do that?
Man, it was so funny. So I started my business in 2015. I had just bought my first apartment at the time. So, I'm a full adult. I'm paying a mortgage. I've got like a real responsibility now. And, I was thinking maybe I'll go into the government or, maybe, I'll continue with Jose. And another entrepreneur, he said, look, man, you have a great skill set. Start your own business. There are businesses that need your help. Start your own business. You'll be okay. Just have faith. And I'll tell you, like the first, as I'm getting all the paperwork done and getting the business license, and I still remember, I'm at home, I'm in my bed, and I'm like, man, how am I going to pay the mortgage? Like I can't look 3 months down the line, 4 months down the line, and okay, I've got money coming in. I'm starting from zero. I've got a little bit of savings and a lot of faith. And, it was scary, man. It's like you're walking off of like a cliff a little bit. Like, all right, I'm just going to have trust and faith that it'll work out. So it was a tough decision. And I went into it not knowing much, just kind of like, okay, I have relationships with people. I know a little bit, but I've never run a business before. So what is this going to be like? And to your point of trust and relationships, within 30 days, I picked up my first contract. So I was almost very fortunate in that sense where, I go around, I'm knocking on doors. Hey guys, I'm making presentations. This is my business. This is the service I can offer. This is how I can be helpful. And man, I still remember, first couple guys who gave me my first contracts, who I still work with 8 years later. They just had faith. They were like, look, man, we've been seeing you around for a few years. Like, you're active, you know the people, you know how to get things done. We can use you, and so it started like
awesome.
that. And super thankful to those guys who believed in me. And then from there, word of mouth. Hey man, Josh was helpful on this. Maybe, hey, I know someone who needs somebody like you. Let me make the connection. And so, I'm in the dozens at this point of companies that I've worked with and still work with.
Cool.
So yeah, man, it was straight up a leap of faith. I mean, scared, man. I'm like, man, I just bought this apartment. Can I keep this place? And, I got into real estate too. So I purchased properties over the years. I think that's another valuable lesson as entrepreneurs, as business people, owning your own real estate, controlling real estate. Now I'm in the mindset of, I'll be able to pass on stuff to my children. Cool. One day when they're old enough, God willing, I'm in a position to say, hey, son, daughter, here's a home. So yeah, man, it's leap of faith.
Yeah.
Leap of faith.
That's cool.
Yeah, but you never know. You might fail. You might fail. A lot of people fail. But it's, you just got to keep going, man. And I, looking back at my mom, who was just, bit of her background, 6th grade education, immigrated here, really chasing that American dream. And she achieved it. She achieved her American dream. And she had faith, and she worked hard, and she didn't make excuses, and she believed in herself. And so just with that mindset, man, living in D.C., the opportunities are endless. Yeah. It's a special city.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
So what exactly you do? Like I say, Lopez and Associate. Like, what is business development? What is relation like? When you come and you work with a company, what is it like? You help them strategize? Do you open doors for them? What is exactly?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you an example. There might be a company that does painting. They're painters. I have enough relationships with general contractors at this point where I can help this subcontractor get on a project. So, I'm able to make business development, create that opportunity, and be realistic with that business, right? Okay, you're a painter, but what projects have you done? What can you do? What is your capacity? Some guys might say, hey, I can paint a building. I could do a big commercial building. But you look at their background, they've only done houses. They've only done residential. Residential, commercial are very different spaces. So I've got to be real with these guys. Hey, look, I don't think you're ready to do a whole commercial building. We have to be honest about this. But you know what? Maybe you can do one floor of the building. And so, through my relationships with general contractors, the GC, hey, look, there's this company here. They're really trying to grow. I think, if you break out this painting package, give these guys an opportunity to perform, do the first floor, see if it works out. Maybe they can start doing more work for you guys.
Jump.
Yeah,
That's actually really
cool. So you got to you have your paperwork has to be right. Different bonding. There's bonding issues. So we are great, hard-working people. And that shift of, okay, let me take my business to the next level. Maybe you didn't get that technical know-how. Somebody didn't teach you, right? And so that's somewhere where I'm helpful to prepare you, get you in the position to make that leap into the next stage. Okay. And so I've done a lot in the construction space, development space. A lot of and as you know, I sit on the board of the Hispanic Contractors Association, a group of businesses. We have an association for contractors in the construction industry. So, we have over 200 members and a lot of relationships there. So just creating those opportunities for people. that's kind of private business to business. One example.
Yeah. I know this. We talked a little bit about this, and I was mentioning earlier that in terms of the construction industry in DC, the Latino construction owners, they have been able to break more into getting government contracts and all that. And maybe you're the one that has also helped them out in that process, but it seems like other businesses are not getting the same benefits. Including myself, I have not been able to really, other than the Office of Latino Affairs, who has given me jobs here and there, but I have not been able to get any other DC government contracts and stuff like that. And there's a lot of businesses that they're services businesses that are not doing construction, that are trying to also break in, and they have not been successful and all that. So in your experience, what do you think are the challenges, or how do we prepare better? Like, what do you see, like, what are the ways that we can get in, or how do we advocate to get more contracts and things like
Absolutely. I mean, it's a fight even in the construction space, and so I think what construction companies have done successfully is get organized. So, you might be a contractor, I'm a contractor. But, if we're all kind of operating in our own island, you're doing stuff over here, you're doing stuff over there, you're not as strong as if we were all working together. Okay, let's go at this issue, 3 of us instead of maybe 1 person. And so I think this association has been very helpful in advocating. There's a saying, out of sight, out of mind. If I don't see you, if I don't hear from you, I'm not going to think about you.
Of course.
And you have to think how government operates, how decision makers, elected officials, people in agencies, if no one is coming and knocking on the door and saying, hey, this is a problem, this is an issue, we need support on this, like, they're kind of just operating day to day, right, doing what they're doing. And if you're not there, you're not even in their space.
Yeah, they don't see you.
They don't see you,
don't see
right?
you.
And so that's been, I think, even larger than business, the Latino community in DC, it's been a problem for us, where, we haven't approached this in a way of like, hey, we're here. These are our issues. This is what we need. We need support on this, or we demand this, or we're owed this, and we have to figure that part out. I think the contractors we've started to do that, and this is still relatively new. It's just a few years that we've gotten to the point where we are now. So we're, I think getting organized, having associations, being in front of policymakers and letting them know what your issue is. Other groups are organized. They know how to get what they need. DC has a $20 billion annual budget.
Yeah.
Wow.
That money needs to be spent. Of course, the salaries of workers and all that, but there's services that the city provides and offers.
And I seen the Green Book, so I know there's money.
Yeah,
even for my business, there's a lot of money out there for businesses. And even my business is mostly service, but, Jorge works a lot with the restaurant industry. I know that too. And to what you're saying, I have spoken to restaurant business owners. I know that. And I know one of the challenges that I know of the tipping.
Activist. It was led by where this person's from. This person's has a different political ideology. They come.
One of the issues that I see over there is like we have to have in the Latino community, each of them go to a person, but not all of them go together and just get me like, okay, we gotta grab a massive thing. That's happening in the Montgomery County now, in Maryland. Latinos, on your point of, because government sees it in a different way, like we were talking before.
And I'm gonna tie this into, what? Instead of going my experience as a server, I would go in, and I'm at the time 18, 19 years old. I'm coming home with $200, $300, $400 a night, and that's tied back to my ability to provide good service. But if there's just like a standard rate, whatever the minimum wage is, I don't know what it is right now.
The thing is
Oh,
16,
man.
16,
We have
20.
in Montgomery County 16.7.
So I go in.
Yeah.
I know people are probably not going to tip anymore.
Yeah.
I'm only going to make 16 an hour. Okay, I'm coming home with $100, whatever. You know, good or bad service, I'm going to make that amount of money.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's no incentive. There's no incentive. And then, you know, the people who supported this initiative, they'll make an argument. Oh, you know, tipping is racist. I mean, they come up with all sorts of crazy stuff. But to your point, now the quality of services go down because what's the incentive to offer great service? There is no incentive. It's gone now because you look at the bill, you see this additional tax,
There's a
service
service
charge.
fee, yeah.
It's all, like, you know what? Maybe before I used to tip $20-$30. Now I may not tip at all. Or if I do tip, I look at all the charges and I'm like, okay, $3, $5.
The issues that we're looking at is like now they include the tip. So the server doesn't do anything. You know, it's just like, hey, yeah. It's not that when you were serving or like in the past. It's like, for me, you have to hustle. You have to enjoy. It's an experience. It's
Right.
like all those little details that are like getting lost.
Look,
you know what I mean?
it's more expensive to
Yes.
operate a business. The cost of the food is more expensive. The cost to the consumer, what I'm paying, is more expensive. And the amount of money that the servers are making is less.
Yeah.
You know, they used to make, and I remember the few folks who did get organized and they were trying to push back. They're like, the system right now is working. We're making a lot of money on tips. We're going to make less money. So going back to your original question, I think a mass level organizing, you know, go down to City Hall, get hundreds of people to show up, to testify, to get in front of these council members and demand that they overturn this law. And the facts are out right now. There's no denying of the facts.
Yes.
The restaurant industry in Washington, D.C. is struggling, you know? And so if we're really a city that believes in business and keeping people employed, you know, the council should make the right decision and overturn this law. Let the socialists figure out something else, go somewhere else and try to pass this law. But in Washington, D.C., you know, the restaurant industry being a strong backbone of the city, right? You know, the restaurant industry in the city, all the people they employ, and you know, we have a thriving scene in the sense of there's options, but you know, it's getting tough, and some people have gone out of business. They're like, we can't survive in this environment.
It is true, and you know, a lot of people don't know unless they own a restaurant, but having just a retail floor, a lot, you know. When you rent the property and you open a restaurant, they have the triple net. You got to pay the property taxes sometimes. And these restaurants not only have, you know, they paying the rent. On top of that, they're paying the property tax. On top of that, they got to pay the trash, the water, the electricity.
Right.
There's so much fees they're paying. And then on top of that now, you know, they have all these policies that you got to pay your employee the minimum wage, which changes everything. And I think that's a lot of people are not well informed or they don't understand.
Yeah, it's a complicated issue, right? You know, like you're in that space, so you are a expert. You understand it. You know, for the average person who's never worked in a restaurant or doesn't know the business, if somebody comes and says, "Hey, if you pass this law, you know, the workers will make more money." And so, you know, I think the people were tricked. They didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't know. But I think, look, it's been around for this year, and you cannot deny.
You saw the difference.
You saw the difference. You see it as a consumer,
everything.
as an owner. Everyone feels the difference. Like there's stories every day of a business shutting down.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think it's a travesty. I think it's ridiculous.
We're in
and
56 last month.
it's crazy, man.
I
mean,
know.
this is nuts. You're talking about people's livelihood here.
Yeah.
So
So we were looking at the numbers, and it's like if it's 56 restaurants closed down, you have 36 employees. Okay, but all those is an ecosystem. All those 36 employees, they have families, they have somebody to feed.
you're impacting thousands of people.
Yeah. So it was just like, so we were talking about that, but we will continue this
Yeah.
because
Let me know, man.
one of the
love
things
to
that
help
we have
with that. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like having your knowledge and then how we can restructure something because it's spreading now. So it's DC. Now they want to grab Virginia.
Yeah.
They want to grab PG County.
They were trying to do it in
Baltimore.
Maryland, I
They're
think,
doing it
yeah.
in Montgomery County. And then
Yeah.
this is the other thing that you were mentioning before. It's like, oh, yeah, you know what? Okay, fine. We're going to have like the 30 activists that they show up, never worked in restaurant business before, but they're voting over there at the court. Yeah, we support that law. And then we're like, what? We didn't even have it. Nobody say anything.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we pass it to voting. Now it's
Yeah.
like $4, $5, $6, 15 years in like certain amount of years. Kill the tip. But then it's just like you're damaging that structure that we grew up with in restaurant business.
Right.
But you see it in big cities. You don't see it in small cities. Small cities keep like managing $4. I still open restaurants with $4 and let them kill themselves to get a great tip. Tip. You know?
I mean,
that's the idea. Like
there's-
do the hustling for the sales.
There's a system that was working.
Yeah.
So you're almost trying to fix something that's not broken.
Yeah.
You know, if there was a legitimate, hey, this system is not working, it would have been a movement led by people who work in the industry.
Yeah.
It would have been workers saying, we demand more, we wanted to change. You said it. This was by activists who never worked
Never worked in the restaurant
they're
business.
they're professional activists. So they go from city to city
Making
to
money.
push this stuff, you know, and so yeah, that's their hustle.
Yeah.
That's their business model. Hey, how can we change the law in this? Oh, let's go over here and change the law, and then they're done, and then they move on to the next place, and then you're left to deal with the fallout from it. We're left as consumers
Yes.
to try to deal with it. So. But it can be overturned, so it's not
Nice.
permanent. It
Good
can
to
be
know.
overturned.
Good to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to know. Good to know.
You talk about socialism and all that, and you know, since you touched that point, let's talk about capitalism in America. Some people don't agree. Some people, you know, complain about it. I still believe that America is one of the greatest countries in the world in which you can come out from nothing to make it somewhere. Like you, it don't matter like black, white. I know some people may say if you're black, it may be harder. If you're immigrant, it's a little bit harder. It's not as easy, but you can still make it. Like, you know, you have so many stories of us making it. You know, the Cheeto guy, what's his name? Flaming Cheetos that they just made a movie.
Great movie. Great movie.
Like how, you know, from being the maintenance guy to being the multicultural, all those things. So how do you feel? Like, how do you explain the beauty of capitalism compared to socialism? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the same mindset. I believe that the United States is the greatest country in the world. There's a reason why millions of people from around the world are trying to get here.
They see.
You know, still to this day,
Yeah.
trying to get here.
Yeah.
And it baffles me sometimes of, you know, people who, you know, only they think we live in the worst country and all that. There's no country in the world where you can come and literally start from nothing and make something of yourself. There's very few places around the world where you can make, and the United States is one of those places. It's a system where hard work, you know, can really achieve some great things. You know, and so I'm a firm believer in our system, in our government, and the opportunities that this country creates. I've lived it. My mother lived it. You know, again, a woman with a 6th grade education. She didn't speak the language. She had to teach herself English. She had to work hard. You know, she was able to buy a home, you know, put me through school, do all this stuff that she's done in life. She would not have been able to do that anywhere else. So to recognize that. And that's not to say that we're a perfect system. Of course, it's every generation makes its contribution to make it a better place. But that's the beauty of this country. It's not like it's like this forever. Nothing changes. No, you can. If something is not working, you can change it.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of our system, right? You
Yes.
you can elect someone. You can change the law. You can amend the law. But you know, if we're not active, if we don't participate, someone else is going to do it on your behalf. So you know, it's important for us to be active, to be aware of what's going on. If you have the power to vote, you know, it takes up a lot of time to be involved all the time civically and all that. But that's where, again, and if it's just you, me operating separately, but now we're three together, hey, Ricky, you go to the meeting in December, you go to the meeting in January, I go to the meeting in February, you're able to cover more ground. Mm-hmm. But, it's funny how, and really tying back to my travels of going around the world, mm-hmm. It was then where I really was like, wow, man, America really is an incredible country. These places are great to visit, and be there. Would I live there? No. They're great places to have vacation. Yeah. But I'm like, you know what? I need to get back home. There's no place like home. And so, I have to scratch my head sometimes of, these, woke leftists, socialists who, think their way of life is so much better. And I'm like, you see all these people fleeing these socialist countries trying to get here? Yeah. And you're telling me that their system is better than ours? Are Americans fleeing to get to these places? Absolutely not. Mm-mm. The people from these countries are fleeing trying to get here. Mm-hmm. So it's an odd mindset, mm-hmm. For people to, think we're just like the worst of the. These people need to open their horizon and go see how some of these folks live around the world. Yeah. And I think that's the uniqueness of Latinos, right? Mm-hmm. We've experienced different cultures. You mm-hmm. came from Paraguay, Guatemala, people from different places. You've experienced something else. Yeah. And you've experienced here. And you're like, you know what? It's better here.
It is. I mean, in my country, it's very classic. Like if you don't come from a family and all that, you could be the best, but you're still not going to make it. Even if you become a doctor, if you don't come from a good family, you're never going to be the director of the hospital unless you're an amazing, super genius doctor that saved the president or something. Mm-hmm. So things like that, like I know that, I recognize that this country is the only place. And even to what you say, like I'm a high school dropout with a GED. I have some colleges, I have taken classes here, I have learned so much, but to be where I'm at right now, to own this business I don't think I will ever make it any other place.
No other place, man. Even going back to Jose, who I worked for, he was a high school dropout. He had a tough life coming up, and he was able to build a multi-million-dollar business, mm-hmm. Through literally hard work, getting on his knees, installing floors. He started out in a van and built this business up. Got to the point where he had warehouses, employing dozens of people, supporting dozens of families. He could not have done that anywhere else in the world. Mm-hmm. And so recognizing that and appreciating it, mm-hmm. I'm thankful. I'm extremely thankful, and it's unfortunate some people, they only look at the worst and they want to attack and they want to belittle and speak so bad. Go somewhere else and see if you can achieve all that you've done in this country and live as comfortably as you do.
Yeah, it's funny. They ask me all the time, it's like, what do you like from the U.S.? And I said, look, man, the trial and error is actually one of the most amazing things that ever happened for me in the United States. How I get to places and try my own concepts on another businesses and make them successful. And then be able to say, okay, this worked for me. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me go somewhere else. I will try it in a different way. Okay, that doesn't work, but we can make it like this way. So for a lot of years, I've been trying that. And, and it's like after reading so much and then getting to, I love numbers, I love finances. I'm like everything that is logistics and how you can arrange something. One of the things that I understood here in the United States, like a long time ago, I was like, this is a country that is developed to do business. Not to work, but to do business. Mm-hmm. It's a country that is like looking at all the tax codes in the 52 states and how you can use them and work them out. It's a country to do business, not mm-hmm. to work for somebody else, but to do business. Now, you have to have the human resource because, this part of an organization that they will help you out to grow. It's like, and you can give them something back. But then it's funny but then you will be able to make it happen. Mm-hmm. How long it will take you there? You have the opportunities to have good credit here. It's something that is so valuable for so many people. Like how you can little by little start progressing I'm like selling pupusas, selling tacos, selling garnachas, whatever it is. But then in 3 months, you have enough money to be able to open your own place. You know what I mean? There's something beautiful. I'm like, a lot of people ask
this
me.
country,
you know what I mean?
this country rewards hard work.
Yeah.
You know, and that's our culture, that's our upbringing, that's the spirit we have.
Yeah.
Work hard.
Yeah.
Don't make excuses. Nothing in life is easy, man. There's always going to be obstacles. There's something that's going to be in your way. Somebody's going to say no to you. You can't let that determine your road in life.
Yeah.
And so that's the beauty of this country, that spirit of American entrepreneurship. I mean, there's a reason why the brightest minds in the world are in the U.S., man. Look at the innovation that we have in this country. Look at our technology sector. We create stuff here that influences the whole world in every sector. We do, like, we are a incredible country of 300 million people, every kind of different background. No other country can say that. China can't say that. Russia can't say that. You look at all these like big countries, they're not. Japan, they're not. Korea, yeah, they're not like us, man. We are an amazing country. It's only here where a Jorge can exist, a Ricky can exist, man. This story can never be told anywhere else, man. And so, you know, we're part of the great American experiment. Yeah. And we're gonna pass this on to our kids. It's
the experiment is insane. Yeah. I love that because you pass it around. You know what I mean? Like, I'm first generation here, and then I have the girls now, and they look at me like it's like, okay, restaurant business. And I was like, okay, cool. The first time that the eldest Alana is like, I'm going to be a doctor. I was like, a lawyer, a doctor. So I'm like, yeah, awesome. And then from nowhere, it's like, I'm going to work as a host. I'm going to work as a host. I was like, oh my God. Okay. She has a great position. She holds for a couple of years a great position. She's amazing. She's super smart with the restaurant business. But she saw what we were doing with my wife. And the other one is managing restaurants. Now the other one want to be a chef. So she's going to CIA New York to study as a chef. But they see those little details that we do every day. You know what I mean? Like, because we've been in the restaurant business for so long. And then you expect like, oh my God, why they didn't choose another career? You know what I mean? But it's what they grew up with. Like, they understand the system. They see what we're doing. They see how to accommodate. And it's basically customer service. Like, restaurant business, a lot of people think that it's only alcohol and food. And it's not. If you don't have that customer service leadership internally, you're not successful. Because you won't have those parameters to be able to be like, okay, this is how much I want to make. This is how I'm going to produce it. You know what I mean? And it's just like the human resource over there again. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's intense because it's in everything. It's not only in the restaurant business. It's like, you see it everywhere. You see it, Ricky, here, filming, designing, creating, and all the stuff. And then probably you see it in your niche. It's like working with all these customers. And actually, it's really interesting. I have to keep speaking my buddy Jose into existence. He told me, he said, complacency is the #1 business killer. Think about that, right? Yeah. The moment you get comfortable, I know all the answers, I don't need a change. You're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're done. You know, you think of Blockbuster and Netflix.
Oh my God.
Right? You know, at one point Netflix went to Blockbuster and they're like, hey, you know, we think we can add more a service to what you guys have to offer. You know, people they don't have to come to your store. They can order the movie to get delivered. Remember, at first it was like you ordered the DVD.
I remember, man.
You know, and then
97, 95.
Oh, but they were giving the DVDs outside. Remember? They were like passing by the DVD. So check this out. And then they were like, now they cancel it. Because I was a big fan of Blockbuster, and then it used to go the 3 movies, one for the pack of popcorns, and and then they start giving you the DVDs, and it didn't work.
But Netflix was like, hey, we can actually, the person doesn't even need to come to the store. You know, they can order the movie from their house. They can order it straight to their TV. And Blockbuster was like, that's crazy. No, people want to come in and looking at, they don't even exist anymore. Yeah. Right? And now I've got Netflix. I have all these on-demand services on my TV. But it's like, you know, again, complacency. Yeah. You know, this business thought we have all the answers. We don't need to change. And they got left behind. And so restaurants especially, man, it's what makes me go back to a restaurant, you know, as a consumer.
Experience.
It's the experience. Yeah. It's like, hey, good food, and how I was treated. And then I leave and I'm like, man, that was a great place. I need to come back again. I need to bring someone else.
Well, you know what? Like after you do it the third time, you keep going weekly.
Man, you know who's got all my money is L'Oreal Plaza.
Oh, man,
Shout out
yeah.
to Luis
Yeah.
Reyes and
Yeah.
their hardworking team over there.
Yeah.
But every time I go there, I'm like, I know the food's gonna be good, and I get treated with respect. It's like, man, you know, they make me feel special.
Exactly.
And so, you know, that's
I go to Hades in my Pleasant, man.
Hades is good. Shout out to Hades, man.
Hades, that lady. I be
She's
going
doing amazing.
to the karaoke nights, man, and she be making me my own margaritas.
I mean,
with
there's a
mezcal.
reason she's still standing after all these years, right?
Yeah.
All the changes Mount Pleasant has gone through. You know, she has multiple locations, but you know, it's that service,
It's
it's that
service.
experience
Yeah.
that separates her from the competition.
Exactly. We've been getting, I've been getting heavily involved. He has been getting heavily involved with AI now,
Okay.
and how to implement it into businesses. I mean, it's been something that I have. It's like it's moving so fast, and I'm trying to learn. Like I'm learning. As soon as I learn something new comes out. It's be like, oh my God, this is too much. Like I feel like overload with so much stuff that I don't even know which way to go and stuff like that. What is? I know you get into crypto before. We talked about that. Like, what do you see the future of AI and business and all those things?
Oh man, it definitely is the future. You look at every major tech investment firm. You look at all the big Fortune 500 companies. They're all moving in that direction. So, it increases efficiency, right? You get things done a lot faster with it. So, you know, I think again, going back to American innovation, right? This is the future. AI is the future in many different aspects. You know, as a business owner, all this different stuff, it's going to make operating your business that much more efficient, that much more quicker. So I think embracing it, absolutely. I mean, I'm able to generate reports a lot faster now. You know, I'm able to, you know, something that may have taken me an hour takes me a couple minutes. You know, so it's amazing. We're at the forefront. It's still evolving. It's still changing. So I think it's important as entrepreneurs, business people, to embrace technological advances that are made and see how you can incorporate that into your business.
I mean, I don't know if I shared this before, but like in the 90s, I was going to Wilson High School, and AOL came to talk to us, the students. I think it was 91, 92, about going and working for AOL. And I didn't care. I was like, man, why AOL? Like who cares about computers? Because, you know, back then, to get in the computer, you got to put MS, DO, something. You have to put a code just to get into something to write. But nothing else. Like, you didn't really have no like how it is now, the computer. So I never cared. Some of my friends went to work for AOL and then became rich because they were offering a basic salary plus the stock options and ownership and all that. So to me, I feel that this is that time, but it's much faster. Like, I feel like what I went through the 90s, that I didn't pay attention to the internet, now it's happening again. Like that whole boom that we had in the 90s with the internet, that's when Amazon came on. That's when, you know, all these new companies. I mean, AOL in 10 years ended up buying Time Warner's, which was almost 100-year-old company and all that. But just to, you know, now I see that that's what's going on now. We're getting into the new era of technology.
I think this next decade is going to be very interesting. I mean, we're going to get into space. You know, even the simple transition of gas-powered vehicles to electric-powered vehicles. That stuff, the AI stuff that you're talking about. I mean, like right now, a bunch of change is going to happen. And what kind of made me sit back and like, whoa, is like looking at my daughter, how she is on like an iPad. Like she knows how to like scroll through things. I'm like, you're like not even 2 years old, and she understands how to go from a different page. I'm like, man, her upbringing, by the time she's a teenager, imagine her understanding of technology. I'm gonna be looking at her how my mom was looking at me on the internet, like, wow, like totally intrigued. It's gonna happen at a rapid pace, man. You kind of just follow where all the money is going to right now. definitely going into like technological advances. So it's, I think your mindset is right. Like, embrace it, learn from it. Don't be afraid of taking on something new. I think step one, hey, I don't know this, but let me learn. If you have that mindset, dude, you'll never get complacent. So I think you're on the right path with it, and I'm excited. I'm excited about the future. I'm optimistic. I think there's better years ahead of us, and exciting things are on the way.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been writing a book, how to make it in America, cómo triunfar. For the Latino immigrants, because it took me a while to understand. So I want to have like a guide and stuff like that. And but it's thanks to ChatGPT, I'm able to write it. Like, I put on my ideas, and then it organizes, and I'm like, damn. Like,
I mean, it's I'm all for making things efficient. It's like at some point, someone, we said, hey, look, having a computer is better than having a typewriter.
Oh yeah.
So embrace it, man.
Yes.
Let's be a part of this journey.
Yeah, man. Well, we've been over an hour. This conversation is amazing. You don't have to come back, Joshua.
I would love, man. Hey, you tell me to be somewhere, Ricky, I'll be there, man. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Jorge. I'm happy to talk about. I'm glad you guys are doing this. This is awesome. I've seen the last few episodes you guys have done. I think it's cool. No one else is doing it.
Yeah.
So people need to hear these stories. I don't have all the answers, but I can listen to someone else, learn from their experience. Maybe it makes me think about something I didn't know before. So thank you guys. I appreciate you for having me.
What would be your advice to our Latino brothers and sisters out there starting a business? I know Jose gave you a lot of advice, good advice too. What would be like the top 3 things that every entrepreneur, every business owner should be aware of, or should learn, or should like try to understand?
Great question, man. I think, step one, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. No one is going to, there's no Calvary coming over the hill, to come and save you and get you over the finish line. Only you can do that, right? So, step one, believe in yourself. Step 2, become as knowledgeable as possible in whatever you choose to do. Don't be afraid to keep learning, right? It's if you want to start a restaurant business, hey, you might have to start out as a server. You might have to start out as the cook in the back. But you learn the trade, you learn the craft, you become an expert at it. And number 3, man, go hard. Go up, man, just give it all you have, man. Give it all you have. I mean, we have one life to live. Make the most of it. Make it fun. Pick something that you're passionate about, that you believe in. Life is short. Let's do things that are fun, that are exciting. Just give it all you have every single day, man. And then we'll pass it on to our kids, and we'll go to the beach and we'll relax when we get older. But in this moment, while we're young, we're active, we can still move around. We still got some good legs. Let's give it all we have. Let's give it all we have and accomplish as much as we can. So,
beautiful.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Actually, it's a pleasure.
Thank you
It's a
so
pleasure
much.
to have you
Appreciate
here.
it.
I hear a lot about you, so it's actually cool. I was like,
Great to
okay,
meet you,
cool.
brother.
One more chapin on the list.
One more.
And then, Ricky, el 15 de diciembre, el 15 de diciembre sale el libro para todos los inmigrantes, señores. Ricardo lo va a tener listo el 14, el 13. We put a promise on it, so we're going to keep on it. Thank you very much. These nights are amazing. We're going to keep it. See you next Wednesday.
Thank you, Joshua. Thank you for watching. Make sure you guys share this video, talk to people, invite more people. We opened up the lines the last time to get phone calls. Nobody called us, so we cut it out. But we're getting more organized. We're going to have our channels coming soon. We're going to get clips out of all these workshops. Thank you, Joshua, for coming. You're on our 5th episode. We are starting little baby steps, but you never know where we're going to go. We're going to, like Joshua said, we're going to go hard.
Go hard.
Go
hard or go home.
Go home. Thank you. Buenas noches. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the family. Enjoy your children. Thank you for watching.
No,
know.
no, man.